We are here today with Derik Mooberry, who's the head of Zitro in operations here in the U.S. So you can tell us in a minute.
Yeah.
You've had a long career in this industry. You've been at a number of stops.
Yeah.
Tell us, Derik, number one, describe Zitro to us, and number two, what drew you to it?
Yeah, great questions, Frank. Zitro, it depends on where you are in the world as to sort of how well you recognize us or know us. And, in the U.S., probably not so much. We're just getting started in the U.S. But internationally, we have a global presence. We operate in 40 jurisdictions around the world. And in some of those markets, we actually have market-leading positions. Our position in Mexico, our position in Spain, our position in several of the Latin American countries. We're not just a player in those markets, we're actually the leader in some of those cases. So what we're trying to do is expand our presence into the U.S. If you're going to become widely known as a global supplier and a market leader, we want to be a global leader in the U.S. too. And so our vision and the tasks that I've been handed is to try and grow our presence in the United States market and try and replicate some of the successes that we've had in a lot of the other international markets. And so we're excited about that. And to your second question, what drew me to this was, I had a great 19-year career at Scientific Games and Bally, now called Light and Wonder. Amazing people still over there. And in those 19 years, I think I probably had 13 different jobs. I worked in systems initially, then I worked in slots for a while. We picked up tables with Shufflemaster over the years. And my roles ranged from being in sales to administration to overseeing even finance, operations, production, a little bit of everything in that time frame. And that gave me, I think, a really well-rounded perspective of what a supplier needs to be in this industry. And after I left Scientific Games, Johnny Ortiz reached out to me, the owner of Zitro, and said, what are you doing? And I said, nothing. At the moment, I was still sitting out a non-compete period. And he says, you're going to be my next leader in the U.S. And I think we had one video call. And he said, no, you're my guy. And when can you start? And so I was excited by the opportunity because in my 19-year career at either Bally or Scientific Games, we were already a market leader in a lot of the places. And so for me, this was a chance to do something from ground up. In the U.S., we had nearly no machines. And it was a chance to build this into something meaningful. And I've never really had the chance to do that in my career. And so I think this is a chance for me to capitalize on the skills and the things that I've learned over the years and see if I can replicate that at Zitro.
Tell us about Zitro and the products that you guys have.
Yeah, so this is a new G2E for us. We've come to G2E for years, but we came as an international company. And our roots are in bingo. When the company was started in 2007, Johnny Ortiz had a fantastic electronic bingo product, and we're still one of the market leaders in electronic bingo. But about 5 years or so ago, Johnny realized that we needed to make a transition. And we needed to get into other lines of business because bingo wasn't going to make us a global supplier, and that we needed to be in Class 3 slots. And so he started making Class 3 video slots, putting them into some of the markets, as I mentioned, in Latin America. And when I was interviewing for the position, I asked Johnny, I said, well, how did you know now? Why now in the U.S., right? I mean, you've had Class 3 slots for a while. He said, I saw our performance in these Latin American markets where our machines were performing at the same levels as the big guys, the Aristocrats, the Light and Wonders and IGTs. And he says, that's when I knew we could compete on the global stage. And it was really an opportunity for us. And so, the things we're going to showcase here, we've got 4 unique cabinets to show on our Glare product line. Which is unusual for a small supplier. Usually a small supplier might have 1 or 2 cabinets. We've got 4, and we're going to have 64 different games on our booth to show, including some interesting new play mechanics and styles of play that we think will resonate not just in the international markets, but also resonate really well here in the U.S. So we're really, really excited about this G2E.
You're a privately held company.
Yep.
Is there any chance that Mr. Ortiz at some point might decide he'd want to be public?
I think he would leave the door open to that, right? We're a really fast-growing company right now. We see tremendous potential in the United States market. The Eilers reports would show that the U.S. market's probably about a $4 billion supplier market. And so if we can just chip away a little niche out of that, that becomes a pretty meaningful growth for a company of our size. And could that lead someday to eventually a public offering of some kind? I think Johnny would be open to that, but I think we'll just let that play out and we'll see how well our growth story goes.
Okay. You had touched upon some of the products that you're going to have on display. What are one or two of the absolute must-see products at your booth this year?
Yeah, I think we've got certainly two must-see. The first is going to hit you as soon as you walk in the booth. It's our new Altius cabinet. It's our premium cabinet. It's a 27-inch with a 55-inch 4K ultra-high definition screen on the top. You won't be able to miss it because it's backed by two large video walls as you walk into our booth. And we've got a game on there that is seeing some extremely good early success in some of the international markets called 7 Chess. And it's got a couple new play mechanics and features into it, some linking with the progressives and some naming of the progressives that adds a little more personality to the game than I think you might see in some of the traditional products out there. And we think that's a unique item for us. And then the second feature or second game that I think is going to be a differentiator for us is on our Allure Glare cabinet, a game called Mighty Hammer. And again, another one that we're seeing extremely good success in specifically the Mexico market and a couple other Latin markets, actually our top performing game that we've had probably in years. And so we're really optimistic that a couple of the play mechanics and features in that are also going to really translate into the US market. And so those are going to be the two that we're going to highlight when people come into the booth. But as I mentioned, it's a whole arsenal of products, and in this business we've been doing it a long time. Sometimes the things that we think are going to be the next great product aren't, and it's something lesser or more obscure product in the booth that ends up being the one that ends up making us the most money in the long run. But either way, we're really excited to be here.
Great, great. Anything else you would like folks to know about Zitro?
We're not a small company. I mean, we're a 1,000-person plus organization globally. So we're really proud of the workforce and the people that we have. And we're not just about making great games. I mean, we also realize we have a social responsibility out there. You may have saw a press release recently on us. We just added 6,000 square meters of solar tiles to the roof of our main building in Barcelona. We've reduced our carbon footprint by 80%. So in addition to making great games and a lot of exciting things, we think we're also being good sponsors within our communities as well that we operate around the world. And so as we expand our footprint globally, we couldn't be more excited about the future.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for sharing that.
All right, I appreciate it.
With us, Derik.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.